Today I will talk about progressive web applications or PWAs and the way they may represent the future of modern web development. The term was coined by Google in 2015 and since then adoption has grown steadily. In this presentation we will look at what PWAs are, how they work technically, why large companies use them, and when they are a good fit for a project. Traditionally, companies had to choose either invest in native apps for each platform or stick to a website that is accessible but limited. Native apps are powerful but expensive to build and maintain. Websites reach everyone but often feel slow and break when the network is bad. Today users expect apps to load quickly, work on weak connections, and in many cases work offline. PWAs address exactly this gap. A PWA is a web app that runs in the browser but behaves like a native app. It can work offline thanks to caching, be installed on the home screen without an app store, and in supported environments it can send push notification. So you get the pitch of the web and a lot of the experience of a native app with a single code base. PWA really of three main technologies. First, the service worker. It runs separately from the page, intercepts network requests, caches responses, and enable offline functionality. Second, the web app manifest. This is a JSON file that defines the app's name, icons, theme colors, and whether it opens in a browser tab or standalone mode. And finally, HTTPS. It is mandatory because browser only allows service workers and modern APIs on security origins. How it works? One, the first visit, the page loads normally and the browser registers the service worker. After then, the worker can intercept fetch requests. For each request, it can decide serve from cache, from speed and offline, or go to the network. Common strategies are cache first for static access and network first for API calls. That's how you get instant repeat load and a fallback when the user has no connection. Many large companies have shipped PWAs. Twitter light cut data usage by around 70% and improved load times. Starbucks let users browse and add items to the order offline, then sync when they back online. Uber focused on working on slow networks and in intriguing markets, the app loads and minimal show first, then fetches content. So the bar is not just it works offline, but real product and business impact. The advantages are clear: one code base for our platforms, so you don't need separate iOS and Android teams. You can skip App Store review and can ship updates whenever you want. Development and maintenance costs are lower. And with proper use of service workers and caching, performance can be very close to native, especially on repeat visits. PWAs are a good solution, but not a panacea. Access to same hardware and APIs is still limited compared to native. On iOS, PWA support improved over time but is still more limited than on Android. And for very heavy 3D AR on highly custom native UX, native app is still the right choice, so it's about picking the right tool for the product. The service worker has a clear life cycle. On install we typically cache the app shell, the minimal HTML, CSS, JS and icons needed to show the UI. On activate we take control of existing tabs, then on every fetch we either respond from cache or from the network depending on the strategy we chose. Understanding this lifecycle helps when debugging and when designing what to cache. PWA is a good fit when your product is content or tooling, blogs, dashboards, online shops, forms, when you need wide reach plus offline or installability but you don't need every native API. And when you want one code base and the ability to ship updates quickly without app store delays. When the app meets the PWA criteria, valid manifest, registered service worker, HTTPS, the browser can show an install prompt. The user adds the app to the home screen with one click without going through any app store. On desktop install may appear in the address bar or in the menu. I will prepare a minimal PWA. It has a manifest with name and icons, a service worker, then captures the page and manifest and works offline after the first visit. Open demo of internet and reload page working. You can open the link, the turn off the network or enable offline in DevTools and reload. The page will still load from cache. That's the same idea used in production PWAs and just with more assets and smarter caching strategies. Progressive web application bridge the gap between the web and native, one codebase, offline supports, installability and performance then can match native in many cases. They are not full replacement for native when you need deep hardware integration on the heaviest 3D AR, but for a huge range and production they are strong and often better option. Thank you for watching and thank you for your attention. Bye bye.